The question is that this motion be agreed to. I give the call to the member for Latrobe.
Speaker, and can I first of all congratulate the member for Corangamite for your contribution and all the members too. It's been very touching, and it's one of those few times in Parliament where we all rise together with the same voice speaking on behalf of all Australians. And on the 15th of December 2014, like many Australians, the way I became aware of the event was my cousin Nathan. I just received an SMS from him, and by memory it was like, we're all okay. And I thought to myself, well, something obviously's happened. Then I looked on the internet and saw the events which were unfolding. I then rang him up, and I think he was there just the day before, and he worked close by, and that was I suppose the crucial or scary aspect of this event, that it could have happened to anyone, anywhere. The ordeal lasted 17 hours and tragically took the lives of Katrina Dawson, 38, and Tori Johnson, 34. And can I, as all of us have been doing, is passing on our condolences, and we truly lament their loss for their family and friends. And obviously they'll be impacted for this for the rest of their lives, but also all Australians will never forget what's happened. The 14 other survivors of the siege will have memories of these hours, and I'm sure they have nightmares. And this week, Mr Deputy Speaker, when I looked up in the gallery and saw the faces of the hostages, and you could see in their faces the fear and the emotion, and you could see it obviously was still with them, and it's going to be with them for a very long time. And the events we saw, as all Australians did, on the TV, where you saw the awful situation of hostages, mums and dads, and up against the window of the cafe, was absolutely terrifying. We can't imagine what they've gone through. These are the sort of images we don't expect to see in Australia. We expect to see them in places like the Middle East. It could have been, as I was stating before, any of us. It could have been in any cafe in Australia. Anyone just going about their day-to-day lives. It was simply shocking, and this is what terrorism is about. It is about putting fear into the public to stop them going about their daily lives. But I can say to those wannabe terrorists and those sad, sad people who are converted, that you will never stop the Australian public from doing what they want to do, and that is living in freedom. The terrorist suspect, and he's not even worth naming, so I won't, but he, in this case, was a lone wolf. And for whatever reason, he thought this was his mission in life, and trying to just put terror into other people. And at this stage too, as a former police officer, I just need to commend the New South Wales police officers. I've gone through many doors, executed many search warrants with firearms out, but normally when you do this, it's at the crack of dawn, first thing in the morning. When these guys went through the door, these police officers, they went in knowing that was an unarmed offender, someone had just been shot, a number of shots had been fired. They put their lives on the line. So not only the first guy through the door, but every single police officer who went through that door, one after another, they were putting themselves in harm's way for one thing and one thing only, and that was to carry out their duty and protect the public. And I'm so impressed with their actions. I've also had an incident occur in my electorate, or next door in Endeavour Hills. Sadly, again, a young Muslim man had been converted to become an extremist, and for whatever reason he decided to take his war out against the police. And that's one of the things we're hearing around the world, is that police who put their hand up to protect and serve the public, they are a target. They are regarded as the ones in blue, and the green are obviously the military. And we've seen awful barbaric attacks where police have been stabbed and killed in the UK and also France, and this occasion was just near my electorate office, just up the road. And again, as I've said, we had the young man who in this case was obviously being converted at a much younger age, Numan Haddad, and I've actually passed my condolences on to his family. And we have a very strong Afghan community in my local area, and I've had a function since. And can I say the Afghan community was absolutely horrified with this incident. The parents are good parents, and the sad aspect of this is you have people targeting young Muslims, trying to convince them that there is this awful path to follow to go against the so-called infidels. And we've seen what's happened overseas, the acts of terrorism, and they're just getting worse and worse. But the pilot in Jordan to be burnt alive in a cage, like who would actually come up with something like that? What happened in Pakistan with all the children being murdered by the Taliban, with the recent events of the 2 Japanese hostages again killed. The most barbaric acts, but can I say the world is actually uniting against what is happening, because it is just not the way good people who support a good religion would ever act. And that's what this is not about. This is not about religion. This is not about Islam. It's simply about changing Islam to become terrorism, and that's the really sad aspect about this. In Australia, again, I've acknowledged the Prime Minister and the Opposition have made statements both on the condolence today and previous statements on other events when it comes to national security, and both sides of the House are in every way trying to work together to make Australia a safer place to live. And my thoughts, again, just in concluding, are with all the victims, both those, sadly, who I mentioned right from the start, Katrina Dawson and Tory Johnson, their families, but also the hostage survivors. And again, our thoughts are with them, and we'll never forget what's happened to them and their loved ones. Thank you.
I thank the member for